name's Kyle. I am one of the elders, so I have two roles at Fellowship. I have a lay leader role, which is here at Fellowship Pellisisppi. I'm one of the elders serving alongside of Jay, Roger, and Brad, and Brandon. And at the same time, I also have a role where I am the church planting pastor for the movement of Fellowship. And so the last several weeks and months leading up to today, we have been at Farragut High School launching TriStar. And so for those of you who have not seen me, maybe you're new to our congregation, that's where I've been for the last several weeks, and I'm thrilled to be a part of that. But having said that, it also lets me be a part of some of the large changes that are taking place at our church plants, and today I get the joy to share with you one of those. When we launched Fellowship Pellisisppi about 6 years ago, and I actually see lots of families that are here who are a part of that, we had a big dialogue about what do you call the church? And at the time, we weren't sure, Rick, what we were going to do, so we just kept calling everything Fellowship and then giving it a last name. So we had Fellowship North, and we wanted to come out this way, and we were trying to figure out what would be an appropriate name in this area, in this region. We didn't know if we were going to make it to Hardin Valley. We didn't know if we were going to make it to Carnes. We didn't know if we were going to make it to Oak Ridge. So we called it Pellisisppi. We just covered the entire corridor of the Pellisisppi region. Well, over time, we realized as leaders, staff, elders, and several of you who have had input, it is time for us to change the name from Fellowship Pellisisppi. And so today I get to announce to you that we are making a huge change from being Fellowship Pellisisppi to Fellowship West. And let me describe to you why we made the change from Fellowship Pellisisppi to Fellowship West. First of all, when we launched in the area, we wanted to be cautious that we kind of gave a geographic location for where we were, but we didn't want to hone in on one specific direction. As a matter of fact, some of you who were here, our first interest party was at Brown Bag and actually Cozy Joe's, which of course isn't here anymore. And so we thought we were going to go to Hardin Valley. That was going to be the place we landed. And then the Lord put us right here in Carnes High School. And I remember the joy of being invited by Miss Tao, who is also no longer the principal. But we were invited to Carnes, and so we realized the name Pellisisppi made the most sense. But now it's time for us to make that change, because over time, people ask, so do you meet at Pellisisppi State? Are you a college ministry? Some people think Pellisisppi actually goes all the way from Oak Ridge to Maryville. And so, did you see? I said that right. Maryville, all the way. And so when they Google it, that's 6 years in Knoxville. I'm getting it. So when they Google it, they can't find the location, and so we wanted to move away from the Pellisisppi name. Also, when we launched, we didn't want to call our church Fellowship West, which is consistent with our Fellowship North campus, because we assumed that as this movement would grow, we would continue to plant churches west. And if we called ourselves Fellowship West, it felt like it would kind of block us in. And as we assumed, in the last 3 years, Fellowship North Shore, who meets in AL lots, and of course TriStar, who is having their second Sunday today in Farragut, both came west. And so we were right back then that we thought the movement would make that change. But both of those churches have rebranded themselves and renamed themselves. So TriStar Church is in Farragut, and of course, Fellowship North Shore is now Water's Edge. The elders felt like this was an appropriate time to be able to make that name change. And probably for the future of our movement, we're going to let our church planters pray over what the name should be. Fellowship West is consistent with Fellowship North, which was our first church plant, and so that name made a lot of sense too. And some of you may be asking, well, why did we keep the Fellowship name at all? And the truth is that we really have a tight connection with Fellowship Middlebrook, and we didn't feel like there was any need at this season for us to disconnect that name. If you remember Fellowship Pellisisppi, now Fellowship West, this was really like the first guinea pig. We had planted a church in North. We weren't sure what we were doing when we planted Fellowship Pellisisppi. We said we want that to be the template for future church plants. So you guys all get to be a part of that.